Hey, what's up guys? Jason Julius here, and I want to help you understand what it takes to be able to last as long as you want during sex, to be able to control your body and your mind, to be able to last as long as you want and have that confidence that you can give your woman the time that she needs to be able to let go and orgasm and feel amazing and feel really good about yourself because you've, taken the time to condition yourself that way. However, when you typically look up, fixes or cures or treatments for premature ejaculation, you're met with so many bad options. And I want to talk about some of those options in this video because I want to help you understand what you should avoid and then help you understand the path that you should take if you want to really fix your premature ejaculation problem for good. So let's talk about premature ejaculation treatments that you should avoid. All right, you like my little mic right here? It's a little mic, looks like a little clitoris, flick your tongue on it. Nope, that's bad. That's something you want to avoid. That's something, if you've been watching my other videos, don't flick your tongue on a clitoris. There's a different, better way to do it. And that's exactly what I want to talk about in terms of premature ejaculation and ending it once and for all, right? There's so many bad options out there. Bad option number one is all the numbing creams and sprays that you'll find if you just do a quick search on the interwebs of Google. You'll find that there's so many ridiculous things like putting numbing cream on your penis. You have to realize if you do that, that's gonna be on your skin. Where do you think it's gonna go once you put yourself inside of her? It's gonna go onto her skin on the inside. And that will numb her experience and she's not gonna be able to orgasm. Let alone you're just covering up, which what I want to implant in your mind is actually just a simple temporary state that you find yourself in is what premature ejaculation is. It's poor conditioning. And once you condition yourself the right way, you will have control for the rest of your life. And so covering it up with a numbing cream or spray is just a terrible, terrible way to go about trying to treat your premature ejaculation as if it's some sort of sickness that you have. You need to actually know how to condition yourself. So throw out your sprays and numbing creams. The second one, if you can call this a treatment, is the idea that you need to think about something else. Think about something like baseball, or I just saw a recent comment on one of my videos. Think about a bunch of spiders. And I get where you're coming from, and I don't want to knock anybody's, idea of what works for them. Don't get me wrong, but here's why it's a terrible idea. You're having sex with your woman, and you're there in the moment with her, and you want to feel every part of her, and you want to be close with her, and you want to enjoy the experience. Why are you going to go put your mind over here? And even worse, the reason that you probably have premature ejaculation in the first place is you don't understand how to control the intensity of your state. A huge part of getting past premature ejaculation is understanding that the mind can exaggerate and turn up the volume really loud, or you can turn it down. You have full control of your body and mind. And as you condition yourself, you can start to notice how much your mind exaggerates the sensations and feelings. But if you actually go look over here and think about baseball, you think about spiders, you think about whatever, you're actually just thinking about some other intense thing, and it might distract you long enough to maybe last a little bit longer. You want to be present with your woman. You want to be there in the moment with her, and for a number of reasons, but you want to be able to control your own state so that excitement doesn't go up to a level 10. And you do that by understanding that your state is just a pattern of your physiology, what you focus on, and the meaning of the situation. And once you understand that, then you can learn to control that state so it's not at a 10. Rather than being over here and thinking about, baseball, you're right here in the moment. And another reason that that's important is because this is something I haven't talked a lot about on this channel, but I will, is how much your state affects your woman's ability to orgasm. As human beings, we mirror each other's state. If you've ever been in a really good mood, but you've been all of a sudden around somebody who's just like in a really shitty down mood, have you ever felt your state kind of come down to kind of meet theirs, or vice versa. That's a very quick example of how our minds mirror the person that we're with. And there you are in the moment with her. If you want her to get present and in the moment, the best thing you can do is, learn how to give her orgasms, learn how to, control your state and your body, your physiology, all this stuff I'm gonna talk about. But when you're with your woman, let all the things happen automatically, get in the moment and allow the things to happen through you. Do the studying outside of all this, do the conditioning outside of all this. Once you're there in the moment with her, the best thing you can do for her to help her orgasm is to be in the moment with her. And if you're over there thinking about baseball, if you're over there thinking about spiders, which I thought was hilarious, you're really just not present. You're not there with her. And that she'll feel that and she'll get inside of her head. So that is a reason why you can't just substitute taking yourself over here, not really, you rob yourself of the experience when you're thinking about something else. And you need to be present in the moment. So thinking about something else is another terrible idea. Okay, treatment number 3, and I only recently learned about this by doing a lot of research. I'm always looking different things up, but I realized that there are some doctors who are prescribing low-dose Viagra as a means of helping with premature ejaculation. Now, there might be some guys out there like, woo, I'm gonna get some Viagra for my premature ejaculation. All that is a cover up to something that you need to just put in a little bit of work that you can actually fix. And the problem with that is you're gonna put a substance into your body that has, a long list of side effects. You probably don't need it otherwise. And the reason that they do it is that in case you ejaculate too early, you might be able to then get another erection. And that's still not controlling your ejaculation. That's still not giving you the outcome you want. And what it is it's getting you buying things month after month after month. Just like the numbing creams and sprays. They don't want to fix your problem. They want you to just come back and buy more stuff, when all it takes is just conditioning your body and your mind in a certain way so that you have full control. But they would gladly give you a prescription that they can sell you because, well, they can profit off it month after month. So I think that's a terrible, terrible idea. The, what are we on? 4th one? The 4th terrible, I wouldn't even call this a treatment. The only reason I'm bringing this up in this video is that I have a number of other videos out there about how to last longer and strengthen your PC muscle and stuff. And I constantly see this in the comments, and I have to bring this up so that people understand that I'll see in the comments like, here's a simple exercise about strengthening your PC muscle, but then I'll see a comment that'll be like, bro, I know a way to do it. Just take shots of whiskey. Just have some alcohol. And I see it over and over and over and over and over in the comments. And I'm like, okay, there's enough of you out there that think that alcohol is a good way to overcome premature ejaculation. And when you think about it, that's ridiculous, because I don't know what your sex life looks like, but I can't imagine waking up in the morning and my girlfriend wants to have sex. What do I gotta do? Sneak off and take shots of whiskey in the other room before I get back into bed and last long enough? As much sex as I like to have in my life, I like to have a healthy sex life. I would be an alcoholic if I needed to drink every single time just to last longer. All that is a cover up. And don't get me wrong, I love a night out with some great scotch, whiskey, beers, whatever. But save that for its own fun. When you think about actually using that as your methodology for lasting longer, all you're doing is covering up your poor conditioning and giving yourself instant gratification. Not to mention the fact that you are really playing with something where if you go a little too far one way, you might drink so much that you might not even be able to get an erection. and you may drink too little and maybe you can't last. It's just really a terrible way. And I get where they're coming from, right? I get that, a little bit of whiskey, sometimes I can last a little bit longer. I get it, I get where they're coming from. I'm not trying to bash on that. I'm only trying to point out the fact that I see this over and over, that that's not an acceptable way to look past what you've already poorly conditioned yourself to do, and don't make that an excuse not to do what you should do. Now, our next premature ejaculation treatment, if you will, is antidepressants. Now, this one kind of makes me a little bit angry, just like the Viagra one, that doctors would be so willing to prescribe antidepressants as a means to help men with premature ejaculation, only because they're not acknowledging that premature ejaculation is a temporary state. It's not something that needs to be treated with something as potent as antidepressants. But it's also another thing where they're just trying to give you something that they can sell to you month after month. Coming from a place of knowing people who have dealt with depression and all kinds of different anxiety disorders and stuff like that, I have nothing against antidepressants, but to give something that hardcore to a man who simply wants to last longer during sex, the means or why they do it is they actually want to increase serotonin, and when you increase serotonin, that can actually help you last a little bit longer in the beginning. But antidepressants should only be there if you have a neuro imbalance. Your brain actually starts to become addicted to the antidepressant. And then over time, what I see and what I get lots of emails about is guys who are on antidepressants that have a hard time ejaculating at all, guys who can't get an erection because they've been taking antidepressants for kind of a while, and guys who lose their libido because they've been on antidepressants for a really long time. And the same goes for women. Women who are on antidepressants have a very difficult time, having a orgasm, and it's hard enough for a lot of women to orgasm, but you throw antidepressants in the mix, that's very difficult for them as well. So I'm all for it if it actually helps, but to prescribe that as a means for premature ejaculation, it actually kind of makes me angry, because there's simple ways that you can recondition yourself if you just take a little bit of time and effort and do that. It's so much better than taking an antidepressant. And my last one, which I guess kind of ties into that, is pretty much all the supplements that are out there claiming to help with premature ejaculation. I've seen some really weird ones, weird Chinese herbs that I can't even pronounce. And I've been very into nutrition and supplements and all that kind of stuff for the past 20 years. I've probably taken more supplements than most people you will ever meet, but at the same time, some of these things are weird, strange herbs and things that actually, when you look into them, lower libido, they make it more difficult to have an erection. And there's just really nothing out there that you should take, because it's just covering up the problem. You may have seen one of my other videos where I do talk about the supplement 5-HTP. And I would say that might be an exclusion of what I'm talking about here, to where that acts similar to an antidepressant, where it increases serotonin, and an increase in serotonin can help you last longer. And there's been studies that have proven that 5-HTP does help guys last a little bit longer. So if you're gonna take a supplement, 5-HTP would probably be the only one that I would say may work, but I don't ever recommend taking 5-HTP or for long-term, use. I don't think you should take it and not recondition yourself. I say take it as a means to help you while you're reconditioning yourself. So 5-HTP can maybe help you, maybe not. For some guys, it can act as an antidepressant and actually make it difficult to get an erection. So it is something that you may want to try on your own and not try while you're with your partner, because you don't necessarily know how it's going to affect you. However, with all of that said, premature ejaculation oftentimes stems from quick release masturbation. When you masturbate just quick enough to get to have that release, which I totally understand. Oftentimes you weaken your PC muscle, you don't understand how your own body and mind come together to actually help you last longer, and you actually create an auto response in your body, in your mind, that just happens automatically for you. You know, just, I need to get this out of me. Your body's like, okay, that's how we do it. Because that's how your mind works. Your mind is like, whatever the body does over and over again, that's the auto responses that we should create, because that is what's helped us survive. That's kind of how our brain works. So in order to last longer, what you need to do is train your PC muscle, which I do have a video on this channel about, and I will link to in the description below. You need to train your PC muscle. It's so important. You have to have a strong PC muscle in order to relax it during sex. Weak PC muscle is impossible to relax. You'll constantly be fighting this battle where you're unable to control your ejaculation. So that's the very first step. The next step is understanding how your physiology plays into the whole thing. I have another video, which I'll link to in the description, about, tuning into your breath. Your breath is just part of it. Tuning into your breath actually brings you into the moment. You don't need to be stuck on your breath the whole time, but actually understanding some breath techniques brings you into the moment, just like it does during meditation. And so that actually triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, I think it's what it's called, I don't, off the top of my head, but to actually slow you down. Think about how guys usually are during sex. They're panting, they're breathing really fast and shallow. Breathing deep into your diaphragm and actually taking your time in slowing down your breath can go a long ways. Understanding how to relax the muscles in your body is such an important part of understanding how to last a long time. If you actually really learn how to keep the muscles in your body completely relaxed, and a lot of times you carry muscle tension, you don't really realize it, but you literally can't ejaculate if you keep your muscles relaxed in your body. So conditioning that and practicing that is such a big part of your physiology. Then tuning into your mental state. What I was talking about earlier is your mental state is just a pattern. Once you understand how to not let it go to exaggerated excitement, be like, oh my God, I'm inside of her vagina, and get to the point where it's not a big deal to your mind. It's not a big deal to enter your woman, and you can take your time. On the other end of the spectrum, I actually have a ton of guys that are now emailing me because of a video that I have on this YouTube channel that they have a real difficult time ejaculating. And the reason is because they've actually kind of conditioned themselves in the opposite way. They've masturbated a lot and they've watched so much pornography that their brain, it's desensitized to seeing sexual situations, to where they, instead of ejaculating really fast, they've taken their time, they watch multiple scenes, their mind is just needs overstimulation. It needs a tight grip of a hand rather than a vagina. And they've trained themselves in a way where they actually can't ejaculate. And this is the extreme opposite of premature ejaculation. And I would never say go watch a bunch of porn and masturbate with a tight grip. However, it is an example to help you understand that your mind will, take the volume up if you're just so sensitive to the idea of being inside of her. There's a way of tuning into the meaning of the situation and what you're focusing on, to where you can take the volume down a little bit, to where it's not so intense. And you can practice this, all these things I'm talking about, you really want to practice either by yourself or with your partner, and take the time to try to last as long as you want. Do the PC muscle exercises, tune into your body, your physiology, tune into your state. Understand that you can break your own pattern in your state and bring the volume down. And then understand that most guys that can last a long time during sex typically don't just have linear sex. They don't just I'm thrusting in and out, I'm thrusting in and out. And then, you know, this is like their own arousal, you know, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're at ejaculation. While hers is going way over here. It's really slow, and she wants a little bit more time. We need to understand that we need to stagger our own arousal. And I talk about how to do that. I call it threshold control, just understanding where your threshold is. And I've already created a training on that, which I have over on my blog at jasonjulius.com/control, which I will also link to in the description. So I would say watch those other videos and learn how to stagger your own arousal and practice this stuff. It doesn't take that long. I get so frustrated when I see comments where guys are like, should I really try these PC muscle exercises? When in like 2 weeks, they see results. Oftentimes by 6 weeks, 8 weeks, they're in total control when they implement all this other stuff. But it's our, you know, minds, you know, wanting to just know if it's true, if it's real or whatever. I don't know, but I want you to understand that you have the ability to condition yourself outside of your current conditioning. Your body and mind can be conditioned in a different way. So you never need to think about any of these other things that we talked about earlier that you should avoid. They will never even come into your reality because you know how to take control and orchestrate an amazing sexual situation. So I hope that you got something out of this video. If you did, let me know in the comments what you liked, if you have any questions, and make sure you hit the subscribe button because I have a lot more cool content coming up, and I will see you in the next video.